So I did the unthinkable thing of changing my profile picture. And you might be wondering, why exactly did I do that? We're going to dive into that today. Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So why did I change my profile picture? If you've known for the longest time, I've had Jay, aka J-Tunes, on the show. Episode 197. So one of the very early episodes of the podcast, we're speaking about his art, his journey into NFTs, Web3, all of those different things. So here's a guy that I really liked, hit it off with, spent countless hours in spaces with him. It's just an amazing time. He created a custom NFT based on some artwork that I had done for the show. And I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. He put New York, Jamaica features, all of these different things that were relevant to me. My favorite NFTs were on the sleeve of the jacket and everything. Absolutely loved it. This was a thing that I had for about 2.5 years, maybe. I thought I would never, ever change my profile picture because I thought it was just one of the most amazing things ever. However, as you can see, that I have recently changed. And what I have right now is a collective NFT from Nineverse, and this is the Kitty Inu mascot. It was a generative project that launched at the end of last year. That is now my profile picture. A long story short, I am now a community manager helping with the Discord and so forth, and I changed my profile picture. So I thought it would have been interesting to share all of the different steps that I took to actually get onto a team. And if this is something that you're interested in, whether you are trying to build out your own project or you just want employment within a Web3 project, this is how it all went down. So rewind all the way back to my entry point in Web3. Obviously, I launched the show pretty shortly after discovering NFTs and start collecting and everything. I just wanted to speak about this stuff, wanted to share about this stuff. And I had no real goal how I was going to monetize the show. I knew I didn't want to have ads. And I just spoke about all these different things, highlighting things that I genuinely found interesting. I wasn't doing paid sponsored spots. I turned down a whole bunch of them. Some gambling NFT platforms wanted to throw money at me to go gamble on there, try to win, and I could speak about it on the show, and then I could keep the earnings, all those different things. And I was like, no, that's cool. If I find it interesting, I'll just get on it. I just buy the stuff with my own money, whatever it might be, but don't worry about it. Obviously, I just never covered it. Why? Because I didn't find the platform interesting. So I just knew that whatever it was going to lead to with the conversations that I had on the show had nothing to do with selling ads or selling spots. But I knew I could build my network, and I could also have the access to various founders and teams and all these different things by creating content. So if you want to get into the room, highly recommend you start creating some content. I don't care if it's a video, a podcast, a blog, whatever it is that you do, that your skill set allows you to do of any area of interest. I don't care if it is bagpipe enthusiast, right? You can find an audience, start creating some content around it, and get into some conversations with some leaders within the bagpipe industry. So going back to this whole thing now, I'm creating the content, constantly getting in before people and sharing different things. And one of the earlier episodes as well was with Erica. Erica then told me about Kitty Inu, the racing game, and it was like Mario Kart. I found that very interesting. Of course, dove into that, checked it out, and I was like, okay, very impressive. We constantly crossing paths with various people from the Kitty community, the Kitty crew, if you will, and even Anna, the CEO, on several occasions. So I thought it was just really cool that we constantly keep showing up, and I wanted to have her on the show. I wanted to interview her, create some content on behalf of the crew. I just thought it was just very interesting. Due to her busy schedule and overlapping and traveling and all these different things on both of our parts, the episode just was never created. But we crossed paths again on a couple of those Evil Plan overnight spaces. If you've ever been on Evil's Plan spaces, you just know that this is probably one of the smartest guys within the Web3 space, and he just communicates these things to make it seem like so simple. Like any idiot, quote unquote, could understand the complexities of the things that he's building the way he speaks. Like, I am not the level of intelligence of building the stuff out or doing anything near of what he's doing, but when he speaks about it, I feel like, oh yeah, I could do this, right? That is a level of intelligence that this guy has. Well, anywho, his space normally attracts a lot of interesting people, founders, and just smart people that are building things and so forth, and Anna frequents those, right? Had the opportunity again to say, hey, I'd love to create some things for you and make a podcast episode, whatever it might be. I just think you guys are building some really cool things. Then, of course, we crossed paths again on the NFT Go space. I was co-hosting the NFT Go space with my friend Jared, who was also on this podcast, episode 534, and she shared that she had interest in coming on the show, and we just had to schedule it, had to work it out, and so forth. So that was always on the pipeline. Needless to say, behind the scenes, just doing all these different things and just creating my content and exploring all this cool stuff, the opportunity came up that they had an opening on their team where the community manager was going off into a different role, into the corporate world, right? And I was recommended by Jared, AJ, and a couple other people to reach out. And needless to say, I ended up on the team. So I spent all of that time trying to just create, explore areas of interest for myself. And of course, like all the people that were building practical things that weren't scammers, and they were legitimate business people, and they were just real people, right? Real, genuine people. And just by doing that, it opened up the door for me to be recommended to a team. So if you know anything of the show, that I've always just focused on what people were building and how this stuff was tying together using the blockchain technology and NFTs. One of the interesting things about Nineverse, Kitty Collective, and everything that's happening here is it is a DAO that has a token. There's an NFT collection based on the mascot Kitty and the IP that is owned by Nineverse, the main company. So all of these different parts of the Web3 ecosystem are beautifully being used by one company that I'm now officially helping to build a community and, of course, create content about. So you'll be seeing a lot of different things coming up, obviously, highlighting various things on the project and sharing some different insights, and also just things that I'm learning along the way. And in particular, in this one, how to actually get on a team. It's one thing to have a theory of how to get there, but I'm just telling you, this is how I ended up on this team. And if this is your goal within the space, I would just highly encourage you to start creating some content. It will expand your network, if nothing else. I don't know exactly what capacity you want to be on team on, whether you're a dev, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a business development person, whatever it might be. I guarantee you that creating content about that thing and how it relates to the industry that you want to get into is going to benefit you in the long run. And the beautiful thing about this is each day there is some new tool that comes out that makes it so much easier. I remember when I first started to figure out how to launch a podcast, there was courses that actually taught you how to launch podcasts because it was extremely technical. Now it's like pretty much plug and play. As easy as it is to fire up a Twitter profile or a YouTube channel, you can launch podcasts. You can launch a blog. I remember the first blog that I launched, it was sort of wonky to connect everything. Now you could do that within an hour. You can have an idea and just start writing on Medium or anywhere. I'm not saying to go to Medium or any of these centralized platforms. Yeah, ultimately you want to create something that you own. Whether it be a podcast, you have your RSS feed. Whether it be a newsletter, you have your mailing list. Whether it be anything else, you want to own that. But it doesn't matter. Create it, get it out there, be known in the space, and you'll be surprised how quickly you'll be recommended by other people for things that you might feel awkward about asking for. As much as I like to speak, I consider myself to be a bold person. I like to even sell. I believe it or not, I like selling things. However, when it comes to recommending myself, prying my way into things and speaking about myself, I'm not comfortable doing that. So I would just highly recommend you create. It makes your job so much easier, especially when you're highlighting other people in the content that you're creating. They're likely to share it out there and recommend you to other people that need content created for them. And it just makes it less awkward for you to then go out and sell yourself. So hopefully you found that interesting. I know for sure when I was interviewing Erica or trying to get Anna on the show, or even when I minted my collective NFT, I didn't think it would lead to this path. I just genuinely was excited about what was being built here, and now I'm in the midst of everything. So if you have any questions about either started creating content, building your network in Web3, or just have a question about finding a job in Web3, I'll answer to the best of my ability. Reach out to me at Tropic Vibes on X or using the contact information in the show notes. But as usual, I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this as we're learning and building Web3 together. So until next time, later. The Nifty Business Show is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.